There's one right here for you and me, and then Aduma and Ethan can share a search right there.
So it's up and working here.
Okay.
And also again too here, you're just gonna want to keep this unmuted, right? Because basically you're gonna want all of your participants to hear and speak. And again too, for microphones and speakers, you just want to be on this echo canceling speakerphone essentially.
Sweet.
Which is the Sennheisers.
So we are live. Great.
So I just selected the Huddle Cam HD. Yeah, it's obviously not taking you as a participant, but you can see there, you can control the obviously the cameras with the remote control. Yep. And again, too, it's just no, you can on screen behind you. There's the pan. And you can obviously zoom in too if you want to get somebody more directly.
Sounds good. So James, are we going to display half the screen with the Zoom, the other half for track changes?
So we're going to share that screen because that's the track changes computer. It's going to share its screen.
Okay.
And then that computer is in the Zoom meeting. That's another participant. That computer is.
Basically, it's just allowing people in the room to see the remote participants.
Fair. Okay.
Essentially, that is its main purpose. And you know how screen sharing and all that works?
Yep, definitely.
Okay. And again, too, like I said, that's if you have a web browser up or a PowerPoint or whatever, you can just, or you just share your entire screen.
Correct. And then we're going for the agenda.
I'm going to ask you, so this public comment, Excel sheet wasn't on there, but I put it on there while we were in the office.
Okay.
Will we need it as a whole? Because Taylor had said something about displaying it during the meeting. So I wasn't sure if that was the public comments he meant. He just wanted everything deleted from before
Right,
7/1,
right.
which is what you did.
Yeah. Let's see where that is in his report on non-public comment. Yep, so right at H. He'll pull that up.
Okay.
And that will be what you display, almost like it's a bill.
Okay. So when we're not, let's say you guys are talking or whatever, and you're not on a resolution or on any of those things, we'll just be showing the agenda.
Yes.
So you're taking this out Friday to use this weekend too. This doesn't have the power wart because normally we just recharge it upstairs.
Right.
Inside one of these, there's going to be a power wart. So when you're done at the end of Saturday, you want to put those all in the case and then plug the case in. There's a little power outlet here. So there'll be a little wall wart in here so you can plug it in to charge overnight for Sunday.
Sounds great. Thank you so much.
But yeah, we'll take care of the rest of that come Friday. So
Great. Can't wait.
All right, James, that's not
Cool.
good luck tonight.
Thank you.
This looks great.
It's pretty happy.
Really great.
Let's see how far we can get this. We definitely usually only did like what, 1 or 2 tables.
3.
So it might just have to be the execs.
Which is fine.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, we can definitely push it more on this thing. I feel like it's wonky.
Yeah, it's probably more on my side.
No, it's more on my side.
Is it?
Yeah, you can go. Wait, like look over the table quickly. Now let look at yours.
So what do you want me to do?
Pull down more on your side.
Okay.
Okay. Now I think it's good.
Cool. We're totally excluded.
But also here, push it down more on your side too. A little bit more. A little more in the corner. Like everything's there but the corner.
I don't know what you mean. Like here?
Here, come over this way and see.
Do you want to just do it? Oh, you mean pull it out more?
Yeah, like just so it goes to the ground on your side.
I think it's like rounded. I don't think it's square.
I guess it is rounded.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think it's supposed to sort of like do that like.
That's weird.
Cool.
I mean, you can move over this way too with that.
That's probably the move. Let him
I'll just
know.
be tucked in here in the corner. It's fine.
Have it show on the corner. No,
I mean, we'll need to do that too.
right. Yeah, I already walked through that. We're getting this. And go all the way around.
Okay, so I don't even have a fun comment for tonight. I just realized I've been so busy and processing about comments. So. Go over and adjust it. Ethan's funny. Top one.
Yeah, probably with his car and whatnot.
Oh yeah, that's right. He does have the car story.
Ready.
And what else is there?
Socially distanced shirt. You pick where we sit.
I'll grab your thing. No,
Go pick where you sit. I'll grab where we sit.
This is explosive.
hi guys.
Hello.
Good, how are you?
Good.
Doesn't matter where we sit, right?
It does not.
Okay.
Anywhere you want.
Summer.
Good.
Busy. How about yours?
Yeah. It's pretty mellow.
Yeah.
This work.
Did you stay in Missoula?
No, I went back to Billings.
Okay.
I tore my ACL in February, so I had to get knee surgery while the spring break. And then I just stayed there.
Yeah. I like that.
Yeah.
That's literally all you need.
There was a single question on the slide. You gotta probably move.
I feel like paper paper.
We're gonna play right yours is blank right there because we have your pronouns.
Oh,
Right.
okay. Yeah.
Uh-huh. What did you say?
Your weekly meetings?
Mm-hmm.
I'll get those during our dinner break. I do dinner break right at the end of my report.
You want to get a cookie?
Not yet.
Not yet. They're a gift from Bodner and we can get them at the very end. We just can't get them during the meeting.
Yeah, I'm gonna go closes, so I'm just not gonna have one.
I like your pants. They're really cute.
You know. What wrong?
That should be okay.
Want to try to spread them out.
James, where's Ethan? Okay.
I saw him walking towards the office when I first came in.
Yeah. Yeah. Usually every time I'm in the office. he's gone. But-
Hey, Brian. Other Brian, Brian Reed. Do you want to unmute yourself and just say something real quick to make sure we can hear Zoom participants?
Maybe we can't. It's important. Or Mark or Sandy's also on.
Sure. Oh, that's right.
Oh, you muted everybody?
Yes.
Oh, don't do that.
Check.
You want to tell Brian about that?
Uh, yeah, you can real quick. Hey, yep, it works great, Brian. Works great.
Okay.
Thanks. Appreciate it.
Yeah, I'll listen to that.
Yeah, how's it going?
Good, guys. How are you?
Good.
How's your summer? It was great.
That's great.
Yeah, went pretty quick.
Yeah.
It was good and bad at the same time, so.
How's San Fran?
San Fran was awesome. That was like my first time
Okay.
there.
I'll just email
It's so
Brian.
pretty there. I love San
Yeah, it was.
Francisco.
He's gonna email Brian.
I'm sorry. Michaela's post. I told my baby sister I was just with her and I have to respond to her in like 3 days. So I'm really good.
So one other thing for DMO, when we have it so that people have to be, they start out muted and the only way they can get unmuted is when the host unmutes them. So I can, and then you can probably split this, but what will happen is when somebody like Mark or one of the other senators gets on, to a speakers list. And it's their turn to speak. You'll just go probably here, and it should unmute them, or they'll request to unmute.
Okay.
And we'll let you know when that happens. No.
I'm like, my eyes, I can't even find it.
Yeah, it might be something come together. I just don't want to force people not to social distance if they don't want to. How's it going, Marley? For sure.
How are you doing, James?
Great.
Yeah?
Like,
James, I've only told you like 8 times.
oh, yeah.
Yeah, we are meeting Mondays,
It's like 100.
these days. And I'm just supposed to have 5 to 6:30.
And this was time. That's what I'm talking about.
I believe 5 to 6:30 is sustainable, but myself. I don't know. I don't even know if like anyone wants to meet here.
Yeah.
I don't know. So I don't even know if anyone wants to meet in person.
I'm open to either.
I'm kind of into. Taking any fun classes this semester?
I have intro to, not intro, rhetorical theory and criticism.
Who's
With,
teaching that?
The big rhetoric professor needs to Steve. I'm totally blanking on their name. The one next to him, the other really good rhetoric professor. I'm totally blanking on their name.
Not Yoshimura.
No,
Do
it's
you have
a
another
her.
Steve? Is it not Sarah?
It's Sarah. It's Sarah.
No seating.
Right. Yep.
Yeah.
At least I could be wrong.
Did
Today's
you
been a
take
blur.
intro to like Sarah or Steve?
Steve, and I'm TAing with Steve this semester.
Yeah, fun.
Yeah, I'm excited about that.
You're seating towards me? Okay. Is it your pronoun? Oh, yeah. I suppose. I'll put it. If Olia hasn't gotten a link to the Zoom.
Gee, like, wait, what'd you say? Like a link to the Zoom meeting? It's on the agenda.
Oh, okay. It's on the agenda. Culture orientation group. Eric, hard to be quiet. Yes, I do know I'm on. It's fine. I just like people.
How much are you doing, Jack? First day again?
Didn't actually have
So you guys had an 8 a.m. so kind of. That wasn't best. Yes. I was just saying hi.
Oh, hi.
downstairs.
What was that?
You should probably have the camera.
Turn the,
Switch. Also, do you don't get a live stream on YouTube? Maybe use up the bandwidth a little bit, but
I thought Jake said no.
if he said no, that's
Yeah,
fine.
I would confirm though. Okay. Do a bit easier.
Just didn't know the option. Now, this, you guys are, you're good. Just scoot that table closer to the camera. The camera's just having a hard time keeping this up. I'm gonna use the restroom.
Mixed up.
How close do you want it? Closer than this?
I think that's fine. It'll just, if it's not that great, then it'll see slow. Right. Okay.
Decided on.
It's being recorded with the document.
Okay, so y'all can tell each other nothing, like. Yeah. I've got saltine. No, it's only most Tuesdays. But I'm doing like 400 paper. Yeah, I feel like I am not. Oh, you're finished? So I'm just taking fun classes. Are you graduating this semester or next semester? In May. Oh, that's fine. I'm working on the sheet. Okay. I'm taking modeling. Okay. Yeah, I was like,
Brian, we'll get that fixed for you.
The high school one? Yeah, yeah, high school.
Hey, Brian, are you able to unmute right now?
That's true. Just
Okay.
CC that. Between me and Badger. I was gonna talk with you about that.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
Okay, you're good now?
Okay.
Sweet.
Somebody sent it to you. Yeah, maybe to that. You know, it's in your.
Okay.
Actually,
No, I didn't email it. I can send, I can email it.
Okay, yeah.
I can email you.
Okay, I wasn't even quite sure the subject of it.
Yeah, no.
And then,
Okay, because I sent an email.
No, I don't know that.
Yep.
okay. So they do have to ask to unmute, and only the host can do that. Just FYI.
So you
So
want me to, I was gonna leave it that way, because that way we don't have to worry about somebody not meeting and messing up the meeting.
for sure, we can do it like that.
Here, let's try this out for now, and then if it gets bad, we'll just change.
Oh, that clock is pretty fast. I was like, we should start. Like 6:30.
Laptop.
Who are the three people in the group chat with?
Oh, shit. Mark, Maggie, and Leon. So,
I'm keeping it.
here's Taylor, so maybe we get me please send me one too.
Okay, all right. Thank you, Taylor.
What was that?
Thank you.
For what you just said.
Oh, yeah, no more lines. Don't have any.
Is Logan coming?
He hasn't sent me anything.
Let's see. I need some information for the website. That's the only reason I was asking.
Yeah, let me just pull up the in my laptop. I'll go right now. Don't think so. Okay. And just do it in comments.
Yeah. We gotta come up this soon.
Yeah. Just want to in the notes there. Everyone's ready?
Good to go.
Very good. So do my ready? Great. Hey y'all, if you could pull your placards out of your binders, and if you don't have your placards yet, your binders yet, they're just gonna be in that back there. They'll just be used throughout the meeting for like getting on the speakers list and such.
Please make sure it's very visible so we can all see. My eyes aren't super great.
Already done?
Yep, you can go.
Cool. I call this meeting to order at 6:33 p.m. Secretary Omar, would you please take the roll?
All right. Senator Armington. Right here. Senator Bentler. Senator Bornstein.
Present.
Senator Bowles. Present. Senator Curry.
Here.
Senator Durnell.
Excuse.
Senator Fulton.
Here.
Senator Gatlin.
Here.
Senator Carlin.
Here.
Senator Laoff.
Here.
Senator Leon.
Here.
Or Senator Lyon. Here. Senator Martin.
Here.
Senator McDermott.
Present.
Senator Miranda.
Excuse.
Senator Nelson.
No longer a senator.
Senator Nichols.
Here.
Senator Pfeiffer.
Here.
Senator Rinnick.
Here.
Senator Shai.
Present.
Senator Spring.
Here.
Senator Tarallo.
Present.
Senator Tran. Senator Ververis.
Here.
Senator Weisenberger.
Here.
President Gregory.
Present.
Vice President Flanagan.
Here.
Business Manager Henley.
Here.
Great. I move to approval of the minutes. Secretary Omar, can you please pull up the minutes? Thank you. Anybody like to get on the speakers list to make any amendments to the minutes? Anyone on the speakers list for amendments to the minutes?
So, yeah, it'll be that one. Opening.
It might already be open at the bottom.
Yeah. Oh, you know, all right, here, I'll try to connect with it. Everyone can get this up on their laptops.
Because I have to open or
Yeah.
That could be it. Here, we'll try to do that.
exit.
We'll do this one.
And it's also, you all have it, you all should have the document on your laptops if you want to pull it up there.
Oh, yeah. All you have to do is just scroll through like slowly. So honestly, you can minimize that. So like, yeah, and then that way it should be able to easier scroll. Yeah.
There's no amendments to the minutes. I'll now entertain a motion to approve the minutes. Moved by Senator Corallo, seconded by Shai. Has been called. Is there any discussion or objection? Discussion or objection? Seeing none, we'll now move to public comment. Is there any public comment? Go ahead.
Thank you very much. Hello, everyone. My name is Nevin Graves. I'm the Missoula campus organizer with the Montana Public Interest Research Group, MontPIRG. For those of you who don't know or need a refresher, MontPIRG has been on this campus for about 40 years now, and we have had many successful collaborations with ASUM in mobilizing and motivating the student body to participate in democracy here in Montana. This semester, we are continuing to get out there and register young voters, and we have had some incredible successes with this last primary election. My understanding is that participation was the best that it's been since the 1970s, and that is a huge success. That said, there is still a lot of work to be done in this regard, and I am asking you, the ASUM Senate, as duly elected leaders within this campus community, for your assistance. We need people who are able to get out there and help engage and get people registered to vote. At this point in time, we have had a lot of work that we've been doing to contact students who had to move as a result of COVID-19 and help them get registered to vote after the fact. We had some very successful phone banking that managed to help us reach out to some people, but there were definitely still undeliverable ballots for students who were displaced by COVID-19. And so it's imperative that we get these people up to date with their voter registration to ensure that they can participate in the November election. So to be very clear, I am looking for people who are willing to volunteer and get out there and talk to the student body and let them know why it's important to participate. I have voter registration forms here with me. If anyone has moved into a new dorm or apartment building and needs to update that, and I will be here after the meeting, happy to help fill that out. And if you're interested in getting involved, I have sign-up forms. I would be happy to either distribute them now to anyone who would like one, or again, I will be here after the meeting. Thank you all for your service on the Associated Students of the University of Montana. This is an exciting year to be involved in representative democracy, and I look forward to working with many of you. Thank you much.
Thank you. Are you open to questions and comments? We do have one person.
I'm very open to questions and comments, please, and thank you.
Sounds great. Business Manager Hanley.
Yeah, so thanks for coming, Nevin, and also thanks for Liz to coming too. I got the pleasure to work with MontPIRG last year for the voter registration competition, and needless to say, we really beat MSU at the voter registration, so I was very happy about that last year when I was VP. I think you all do a lot of great work in registering voters and engaging a lot of students in the political process, and I look forward to working with you for the remainder of my term.
Are there any other questions that I might answer for folks here?
Would anybody else like on the speakers list? Last call. Thank you so much for coming. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else here for public comment? Last call for public comment.
Does anyone
I have one.
Oh, go ahead and give it.
Hi, this is Corey Cardoza. Can you hear me okay?
Yep.
Hello, Senators. Thank you for allowing me to spend a little bit of your time to give you a quick update from IT here on campus. Thank you, James and Taylor, for the invite today. I just wanted to briefly talk to you about an update to the U Montana mobile app for students. So IT and the rest of the campus was busy this summer around several initiatives around COVID and a healthy start to the fall semester. And so we just want to let you know there's a new version of the mobile app out that should hit the Apple Store tonight. The Google version is available now. We had a little bit of delay with the Apple App Store getting it pushed out, but it is available. And the intent of this upgrade, you'll have to download a new version of the app, log out, log back in in order to see this new feature. But one of those features is we'll be sending out a daily poll or self-attestation. So as students come back on campus, they can self-attest if they have any COVID symptoms or not. And that'll just give the university some information about if there's any potential spread of COVID and to help ensure that we're keeping the student population healthy and just watching for any signs of outbreak on campus. So this is coming from one of our contact tracing committees that worked hard over the summer to come up with a plan to monitor the COVID situation. So just wanted to get that word out there. If you could pass that along to fellow students. I know we sent some email communications out today. Download the most recent version of the U Montana mobile app and look for updates via your email and social media that'll be going out tomorrow for more information. Thank you for your time today.
Thank you. Is there any questions or comments for Corey? Last call. Thank you so much for coming, Corey.
Thank you.
Is there any other public comment? Last call. So ends public comment.
So open to the president's report. Welcome everyone. It's really great to see all of you for our first Senate meeting for academic year 2020-2021. For our returning senators, thank you so much for joining us for another year. And for our new senators, happy to have you and to work with you this fall. So for those of you who I haven't met yet, my name is Taylor Gregory, and I have the pleasure of serving as the ASUM president for this year. I'm an undergraduate senior studying political science, international relations. And it's kind of a 10,000-foot overview of my position before we head into retreat. The ASUM presidency position, it's very forward-facing towards the administration. So I spend a lot of my time working with administrators. I serve on the president's cabinet and various other high-level committees. But within ASUM, I also serve and oversee the agency directors as well. But before we begin, kind of the substantive components of my report today, we need to swear in all of our new senators. So I'll now entertain a motion to formally swear in the following senators. So we have Isabel Lyon, Mark Spring, Valeria Miranda, who is not with us right now, and Christian Pfeiffer.
So moved.
Hold on one second. If you came to the body via the special election, I don't need a formal motion for you since you were voted in. You don't need to be motioned in. So right now I'll take a motion just for those 4 senators.
So moved.
All right, moved by Tarallo, seconded by Ring.
Yeah, Miss.
Unanimous consent was called. Any discussion or objection? Discussion or objection? Great, so if you came to the body as a result of interview committee on the CRB election, or if you were not present at the April 29th meeting to give the oath, please stand in your chairs right now, and our student success liaison will administer the oath. So Brian, I'll turn it over to you.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to ASUM. I'm Brian Reed. I'm the Associate Vice Provost for Student Success, and I'm excited to meet you in person next week when I'm there. So please repeat after me. I state your name.
I, George Allen,
Do solemnly swear
Sir,
that I will faithfully execute
that I will faithfully execute
the office of Senator of the Associated Students of the University of Montana
the office of Senator of the Associated Students of the University of Montana
and will, to the best of my ability,
and to the best of my ability,
preserve, protect, and defend the rights and privileges of students
preserve, protect, and defend the rights and privileges of students
of the University of Montana
of the University of Montana
and will responsibly undertake
and responsibly undertake
all duties necessary to secure these ends.
all duties necessary to secure these ends.
Thank you.
Great, thanks, Brian, and congratulations to all of you. So now to begin my report, as I kind of go through it, since we haven't been through a retreat yet, I'm going to kind of walk through what I'm doing as I'm doing it, just for the most amount of clarity possible. But kind of for the report, it's customary for the ASUM president to bring guests into the report to speak with all of you, to present, for all of you to ask questions and garner feedback. So today we'll have 3 guests coming in to speak with all of you. There'll be an opportunity for a follow-up period afterwards to ask them questions that you may have on things that they presented. So while our guests are speaking, please be attentive and respectful to them both while they're presenting, but also in the questions that you ask and in the behaviors that you exhibit. If you exhibit inappropriate or disrespectful behavior, I will be forced to call decorum on you. So please don't make me do that during the first meeting, so please be respectful. Let's see, if you would like to get on the speakers list at any moment, please raise your placard high, especially if you're down towards that end. I can't really see down that far, but just raise it high. I'll add you to my speakers list and then call on you to speak. If you'd like a follow-up question, please ask me first. I want to make sure we can get through the most amount of questions possible from the most amount of senators possible. So with that, let us welcome our first guest, President of the University of Montana, Seth Bodner. So, welcome, Seth.
Well, thank you, Mr. President. I don't get a gavel like you do. So you guys have quite a nice privilege that sometimes I feel like I could use in some of our meetings. I'm looking at Ryan, but it's so great to see you all here. So great to have you back. You know, I want to share a couple thoughts and just get some of your questions. And first and foremost is that we're really excited to see y'all here back on campus, to see some of you participating via Zoom. We are obviously really excited about the start of the academic year. It's a different academic year. We're wearing masks. We're sitting far apart. We're having different experiences here on campus. But it doesn't diminish from the overall excitement and enthusiasm we have as we begin this academic year. So I just want to give you a warm welcome back to campus. We've done a lot of work over the summer, and you know, as Taylor and James and Ethan would attest, they've been in a lot of our meetings, and it has been an incredibly busy summer while you were away. Some of you were taking summer classes. That's great. A lot of planning, rethinking, reimagining, restructuring nearly every aspect of the university to operate in a pandemic. And core to all of those planning efforts has been one kind of 3-word phrase, which is keep on learning. How do we enable our students to keep on learning? Well, of course, protecting the health and safety of the UM family through this pandemic. The reality is we don't know, you know, when we get to the other side of this. We don't know what types of permanent ramifications COVID-19 may have for our society globally. But our imperative and our duty is to enable you, our students, to keep on learning, to continue to achieve your learning objectives, to set you up for lifetimes of success. And so everything we've done this summer has been focused on that. And for a large part of that means that, well, we have to revamp things so we enable in-person instruction. And that means reconfiguring every one of our classrooms. That means you can see out here on the tennis courts, tents. That means setting up outdoor classrooms. That means reassessing the flow of classrooms, seating charts in classrooms, professors with new techniques. Residence halls will look very different. The food zoo with a totally revamped operation. Everything about this campus has been modified to enable some in-person instruction. But again, it's keep on learning. And we realize that students of different needs and different circumstances are going to have different desires in terms of their way to keep on learning. So that means we absolutely have enhanced the remote learning options, the hybrid learning options, to make sure that every student, to the greatest extent possible, can continue learning, can keep on learning through this pandemic. And that has required a tremendous amount of flexibility, a tremendous amount of adaptability, and a huge amount of work on the part of our faculty members, our staff, and you as well, students. And so I really appreciate the way that our campus community has come together through this. There's much that we, I'm sure, cannot anticipate as we start this semester. And as we look to the finish in Thanksgiving, I'm sure if we had a time machine, there will be things we'd say, wow, we did not expect that to happen. Just as if you had asked me in January, would I have expected us to be sitting here under these circumstances at this time? Of course, the answer would have been no. As Ethan can attest, I think he and Abigail Belcher and I last year sat, and the year before I had sat with our student leadership and I said, here's our priorities for the year, but there will be something that surprises us. For our student leadership of Alex Butler was our ASUM president 2 years ago. That surprise was dealing with asbestos in our ASUM student daycare center, right? We did not anticipate that happening, but we dealt with it. We dealt with it as a team. And Ethan, you probably remember, as I said to Abigail and you, there will be something this year that we can't predict, and we're going to have to navigate it. And that was absolutely true in a much bigger way for Abigail and Ethan and all of you as we experience this pandemic. So the same will be true this year. We know COVID will present challenges, but there will be other things that we don't expect. But let me tell you the third and final point, and this is how we navigate these challenges. We navigate them together as a team. And as I've shared with James, with Taylor, and again, reiterated with Ethan, because he heard it all last year, I really count on our student leadership, as you are not just kind of advocates for positions or advocates for points of view on this campus. I see you as shared leaders and important leaders in making this campus function effectively. And so, and I count on you, and our entire university leadership team counts on you. And as we head into the start of this semester, we are counting on you. You know, we've put in place a tremendous number of mitigation measures in our classrooms. We have testing availability at the Curry Health Center. We have a COVID quarantine and isolation manager, Ryan, who typically works in my office. And Ryan right now would be planning events around football games and homecoming. And if you had asked Ryan several months ago, would he be planning quarantine and isolation procedures for our students? He would have said, absolutely not. But we've got all these measures in place. But we're counting on you as students and you as student leaders help impress upon our student body the important aspect of behavioral change, that's necessary for us to contain this pandemic, because we can have all the best procedures in the world in our classrooms, in our dorms. And if students throw those out the window when they hang out together on the weekends, it's all for naught. And we won't make it to Thanksgiving. And we're really counting on you. We're really counting on personal responsibility and behavioral change to enable us to keep on learning through this pandemic and to have in-person options. And that's just one thing this is a free country. we can't mandate your behavior, but I am asking, and I'm asking for your help and your leadership to really band together, as we have with past challenges, to band together in addressing this challenge and help us, again, maintain the various options for learning. We have remote, we have these hybrid options, but that in-person modality is incredibly important for many of our students. Many of our students, as we went to all remote in the spring, left the university. That, hey, that online stuff, it's not for me. It's not what I came here for. And I fear for some of those students, it's tough once you leave to get back on track. And so for us, maintaining the option for some students to have that in-person instruction is really important, but it takes all of us. It takes a collective effort to enable that to occur. And you've seen universities already in the South and the eastern part of the country that tried to come back, and you know what? They had to shut it down. And I don't want that for the University of Montana. And I don't think any of us want that. But again, it's going to take all of us. And so I think as we enter this year, I am asking for your partnership in that effort and helping us to enable our students to keep on learning and to have every option available for them to continue their educational journey. So with that, I will stop and stand for questions.
Great, thank you, President Bonner. I have a couple of senators for you. So to start, Senator Shy.
Hi, President Bonner. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy schedule to come talk to us. I work for athletics. One of my main concerns is the Big Sky's decision to defer athletics until the spring. I'm just wondering how the school plans to mitigate the projected loss of revenue from just football, let alone the other fall sports that are in the spring.
Yeah, well, thank you. It's a very good question, and we are working through that right now. This is a challenge for this university, and frankly, we have a fantastic athletics department with an amazing fan base and a great football stadium, and that's full. And frankly, the team was going to be pretty darn good this year. So it's a shame to see football camp. It's a shame to see our other fall sports pushed. It was a shame to see our basketball team. Our women had lost already, but our men's basketball team pulled off the court in their shoot around in the Big Sky Championship last year. It was a shame to see our softball season. We had a women's softball team that was fantastic last spring, and that season cut short, and that's really hard. But there are financial realities of that, and there is it's an important fact for you guys all to know is that our athletics department, because many people say, oh, we fund athletics so much. Believe it or not, our athletics department is the most self-sufficient athletics department in the entire country. And what I mean by that is every athletics department has a portion of their budget that's funded by the institution and then a portion that is funded by the revenues that they generate. Our athletics department has the highest proportion of any school in the country of their budget that comes from external sources. And so another way to say that is the University of Montana subsidizes our athletics department at the lowest level of any institution in the entire FCS. So, but what that creates is a big challenge. And so Athletic Director Haslam and I are working through it. There are expense reductions that have already taken place over the summer and that will be maintained. There are steps we're taking to work with donors and alumni to stem that. And we are hopeful that we may be able to have some seasons in the spring. So those are very real concerns. But my other concern is our student athletes themselves. And we are absolutely trying to make sure that our student athletes can continue to safely train and practice and keep that engagement, that routine, which for many of them is a really important aspect of their mental health. And so it's a really good question, something we're working hard on.
Thank you.
Senator Carlin.
Thank you very much, President Bodnar. You mentioned schools in the south and the east that had to already shift to online, and I think a lot of students are concerned about that. So I wanted to ask, are there any benchmarks or trigger points that universities identified for that shift to remote learning or going more remote? And might those be made publicly available along the way for students to kind of track where we are along that path to remote learning? And hopefully we won't get there, but
Right. Yeah, thank you. It's a really good question. It's something we've been working on. And one of the things you'll find as you look at institutions, you don't see, trigger points really laid out by anybody, because it's really part of a holistic picture, and people say, well, what's the number of cases that would cause you to change modality, right? And frankly, there's not a specific number of cases, right? Numbers of cases is a consideration, but available quarantine and isolation space, number of hospitalizations, the percent of tests that are coming back from Curry Health Center as positive, our ability to do effective contact tracing and mitigate an outbreak. Those are the factors that go into it, but there's not a certain threshold on any one of them. It's really a combination of those factors, and a decision about potentially changing modality or campus posture would be made absolutely in conjunction with the Montana University system on a campus by campus basis, but MUS has the decision authority on those questions, but it would be made absolutely in consultation with our city, county public health division, as well as state and local health, state health officials as well. So those are the factors that we consider, but there's not a specific number in any one of them. It's really looking at them all in totality, with really the bottom line being our ability to control kind of unmitigated spread of the virus. And I think in some of those schools, while they didn't have thresholds or triggers, a combination of those factors and their ability to control the spread of the virus, I think, and I haven't obviously spoken with any of them, but my assumption is that they determined that they did not have the ability to prevent unmitigated spread of the virus. So that's really our guiding kind of principle is prevent unmitigated spread, because we will have positive cases. We have had positive cases. The question is, can you prevent those positive cases from spreading rapidly? And that's why behaviors matter, because by the time it's too late if you haven't taken those measures. And I think what happened in a lot of those places, large parties, 300 people together for 4 hours, no masks. I know these aren't fun, but it's important, and staying spread out. I mean, to be frank with y'all, I wonder too if we shouldn't have this meeting in a bigger room, or perhaps in one of our outdoor tents. I just, everything you can do, assuming that someone likely, or has the potential to have COVID, and just think with that in your mind, and we can get further along this path. Because our hope is that through behavioral change and through the measures that we've put in place, we can prevent that unmitigated spread. And we're, knocking on wood and praying that we see advancements in vaccines and therapeutics that enable us to control this as a society.
President Baldner, thanks for coming. So one thing that I've noticed, especially last year, one staple of your presidency has been fundraising, especially with the Campaign Montana goal being shattered last year. It was really cool to see that. And another thing that I've noticed with fundraising is a more shift towards student support initiatives. That was exemplified by the food pantry being fundraised for, but particularly last March with the help in establishment of Abigail Belcher, the establishment of the Student Support Fund. I'm wondering going into this year if you could speak about some of those priorities, particularly the student support ones that you're putting forward to the Foundation.
Thank you. It's a great question. And you all will know that we've articulated 5 priorities for action that guide the efforts of the university. And number 1 on those is place student success at the center of everything we do. And so that, you know, has, you know, I want to maybe just talk about 3 main categories of fundraising and actually funding, because we're using internal funds for some of them, priorities. And the number 1 is student success and retention, persistence, completion. And you know, that has been a priority for me since I came here and saw, you know, UM's first to second year retention rate had fallen 7 percentage points between 2011 and 2018. And last year, after putting in a year of work, we clawed back almost half that decline. We saw that first to second year retention rate increase of points. And so how do we do that? Well, we have funded more advisors. We are in the process of implementing a software product called EAB Navigate, which is a tool that you will use to collaborate with your advisors. It's a tool that your faculty will use to share kind of status on how you're doing. It's a tool to provide early warning for students who may be struggling, so we can support them in those efforts. And we are in the process of asking for some significant funds to amplify those efforts even more. We've also implemented something we're calling Montana Project 10, focused on Pell eligible students in particular, with significant support mechanisms in place. And we have over 210 students in that program this year. And our hope is that we're going to see our retention, persistence, and completion rates increase by 10 percentage points among those students. We can scale that out. That's the intent. You know, the second piece that we're working really hard on right now, and we are working with the foundation and some fundraising for this, is around experiential learning and career success. Less than half of college students nationally during their undergraduate time do an internship while they're in undergrad. Yet employers say again and again, what they're looking for is people who've had some work experience, some internship. You know, that the skills you're learning in your courses, they're really important. But what employers are looking for are the ability to communicate, the work in teams, job experience, you know, looking for those those experiences. They can teach you the skills, is what they tell me again and again. But they want you to have some experience. And so we really, last year, we brought together our Office of what was called Academic Enrichment and Career Services. We created something called Experiential Learning and Career Success. And we've just launched